It is 2 a.m. The house is completely silent. The only light in the room is the fading glow of the screen in your hand or maybe the laptop on the desk. And then there's that feeling. You know the one. It's heavy. It sits right in the center of your chest. It's a mix of exhaustion, numbness, and this crushing, suffocating weight of disappointment. Because you promised yourself. You looked in the mirror this morning, or maybe it was 3 days ago, and you said, "I am done. That was the last time. I'm better than this." You really meant it. You weren't lying. But then the stress hit, or the rejection, or the loneliness, or honestly, maybe it was just boredom. Maybe it was just habit. And almost like you were on autopilot, like someone else hijacked your hands and your eyes, you went back. And now the dopamine has worn off, and all that's left is the shame. I am talking to you right now as a friend. I want you to take a deep breath, just breathe, because I need you to hear something that the shame is trying to scream over. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not a hypocrite. You are a warrior who has been fighting with the wrong weapons. See, for years, I thought the battle against lust was a willpower issue. I thought if I just clenched my spiritual fists tight enough, if I just hated the sin enough, I would stop. But here's the brutal truth that nobody tells you in Sunday school. You cannot hate your way to holiness. And you cannot white-knuckle your way out of a neural pathway that your brain has spent years paving like a superhighway. Science tells us that every time we give in, we are physically carving a groove in our brain, a neural pathway. It becomes the path of least resistance. So when you feel pain, your brain says, "Hey, I know a shortcut to relief. Go this way." It's biological. But here is the incredible thing. The Bible isn't just a book of morals. It is actually a manual for cognitive restructuring. It contains a specific, often overlooked covenant, a way of engaging with God that acts as a spiritual circuit breaker. It's not about trying harder. It's about unlocking a power that literally blocks that neural pathway. It interrupts the signal. I'm going to show you exactly what that covenant is. It's hidden in the story of a man in the Old Testament who lost everything yet kept his integrity. And no, it's not just Job made a covenant with his eyes, though that's part of it. It goes so much deeper. It's a transaction of the heart that changes what you desire, not just what you do. If you stick with me for the next 20 minutes, we aren't just going to talk about stopping. Stopping is miserable if you still want the thing you're stopping. We are going to talk about changing. We are going to walk through how to install this spiritual blocker so that the next time the urge hits, the signal hits a wall. But to do that, we have to admit that what we've been doing, the shame cycle, the promises, the grit, isn't working. We have to be willing to try something radically different. Are you ready to put down the shame and pick up a strategy that actually works? Let's get into it. It's easy to feel like you are the only one struggling with this. The enemy of your soul loves isolation. He loves to whisper that everyone else at church, everyone else in your small group has it all together. They are spiritual, and you are just pretending. But let me tell you, that is a lie designed to keep you trapped. If we could see the spiritual battles happening in the minds of the people sitting in the pews next to us, we would be stunned. This struggle isn't rare, and more importantly, it isn't just a modern problem caused by the internet. The technology has changed, making access instant and anonymous. But the hunger is ancient. See, I think we misunderstand lust. We treat it like a monster that needs to be starved. But really, lust is a liar. It takes a legitimate God-given need, the need for intimacy, for comfort, for stress relief, for validation, and it offers a counterfeit solution. It's like drinking salt water when you're dying of thirst. It looks like water, it feels like liquid in your mouth, but the more you drink, The thirstier you get, and the more it destroys you from the inside out. You aren't a monster because you're thirsty. You are human. The problem isn't the thirst. It's where you're going to the well. Let's look at King David. This is the man who wrote the Psalms. He was called a man after God's own heart. He killed giants. He worshipped with a passion that made people uncomfortable. If anyone had spiritual discipline, it was David. But then comes that afternoon on the rooftop. You know the story. He sees Bathsheba, and in that moment, all his theology, all his past victories, all his songs, they didn't matter. Why? Because David had stepped out of his covenant protection. The scripture says it was the time when kings go forth to battle. But David stayed home. He was idle. He was bored. He disconnected from his purpose, and the moment he did that, his biology took over. The natural man took the wheel. And this is where we have to introduce a concept that might shift your entire paradigm. In the scriptures, there is this tension between the natural self, our biology, our instincts, our appetites, and the spiritual self. Most of us try to fight the natural self with willpower. We say, I will not look, I will not click, I will not think about it. But psychology tells us that the more you try not to think of a white bear, the more you see the white bear. By focusing on the don't, you are actually keeping your brain locked on the target. This is where the secret Bible covenant comes in. There is a principle hidden in plain sight throughout the Bible that suggests we can't just empty our house of demons, we have to fill it with something else. If you just empty the house, if you just stop the behavior without changing the heart, the enemy comes back with 7 friends stronger than him. The covenant I'm talking about isn't a contract where you sign a paper saying, I promise to be good, and God says, okay, I'll love you. No, that's a business deal. And you've broken that deal 1,000 times, haven't you? That's why you feel so guilty. You think you voided the contract. But a true biblical covenant is a relationship. It is a binding tie. It's a connection so deep that it actually alters your nature. It changes what you want. Think about it like this. A dog might want to eat a piece of raw meat on the sidewalk. You can pull on the leash, you can yell no, you can drag the dog away. That's willpower. The dog obeys, but it still wants the meat. Its nature hasn't changed. But a human being, you don't have to be forced not to eat raw meat off the sidewalk. Why? Because your nature is different. You have a higher understanding. You don't even desire it. The goal of this secret covenant isn't to be a dog on a leash, constantly straining against sin, but barely holding back. The goal is to undergo a mighty change of heart, where you lose the disposition to do evil, where the neural pathway of lust is blocked not by a wall of bricks, but by a flood of light that makes the darkness irrelevant. I know that sounds almost too good to be true. You're thinking, that sounds nice, but you don't know my history. You don't know how deep these hooks are. I hear you. But I also know that there is a law of spiritual physics that overrides the law of biology. We are about to look at exactly how to activate that law. It involves a specific way of praying and a specific way of seeing, essentially drawing a line in the sand that your brain learns to respect. Are you ready to go deeper? Because what we're about to discuss next is the mechanics of how this actually works in your daily life. Here is the deep truth that changed everything for me. We often view Christianity as a list of do's and don'ts. Don't lie, don't steal, don't look at that image. But the Bible presents something far more radical. It presents a theology of transformation. There is a verse in Matthew that is the key to this entire neurological puzzle. Jesus says, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." Listen to that again. Full of light. Now think about physics for a second. If a room is completely filled with light, every corner, every shadow illuminated, can darkness exist there? No. Darkness is not a thing. Darkness is just the absence of light. You can't shovel darkness out of a room. You can't fight darkness with a sword. The only way to remove darkness is to turn on a light. For years, you and I have been trying to shovel the darkness of lust out of our minds. We've been fighting the darkness with the sword of willpower, and we are exhausted because we are fighting a phantom. The secret covenant is the decision to stop fighting the darkness and instead focus entirely on increasing the light. This brings us to the line in the sand. In the ancient world, a covenant was a cut. It was a severing. You cut a clear line between who you were and who you are becoming. Job said, "I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid?" Job didn't just wake up every day hoping he wouldn't sin. He made a pre-decision. He drew a line in the sand of his soul. He basically said, "I have already decided. The debate is over. I don't negotiate with terrorists, and I don't negotiate with lust." See, the brain science backs this up beautifully. When you are tempted, your amygdala, the lizard brain, the fight or flight center, lights up. It screams, "I need this pleasure. I need this release." It bypasses your prefrontal cortex, which is the logic center, the part of you that loves God and wants to be a good husband or father. When you try to debate with lust in the moment of temptation, you have already lost. You are trying to use logic against a chemical tidal wave. The covenant is a decision made before the temptation hits. It is a decision that says, "I am not just a natural man. I am a dual being. I have a body, yes, but I am a spirit housed in this body, and my spirit is in charge." This is the line in the sand. You must accept that you cannot serve two masters. You cannot hold on to the comfort of your secret sin and hold on to the hand of God. You have to let go of one to grasp the other. And this is where it gets scary, because if we're being honest, part of us loves the sin. It's been a friend. It's been a coping mechanism. To let it go feels like a death. And you're right. It is a death. The Apostle Paul called it crucifying the natural man. But here is the secret source element that most people miss. You don't crucify the natural man by hurting yourself. You do it by yielding your heart. There is a transaction that needs to happen tonight. It's not a promise that I will never do it again. It is a confession that says, "God, I am weak. This pole is stronger than I am. I cannot fix my own heart. It is too damaged. So I am giving it to you. I am trading my stony, lustful heart for a heart of flesh." This is the theology of displacement. We don't just empty the brain of bad thoughts, we flood the brain with a higher power. We invite a spirit, a holy presence, to take up residence in our minds. In my tradition, we believe that the Spirit of God is a sensitive guest. He doesn't force his way in. He waits for an invitation, and he withdraws when the environment becomes hostile. When we invite lust in, the Spirit quietly leaves. And when the Spirit leaves, we are left alone with our biology, and our biology will win every time. So the covenant is this: I will do everything in my power to keep the environment of my mind clean enough for the Spirit to stay, because when the Spirit is here, I don't even want the sin. Do you see the difference? One is fighting a white bear. The other is looking at a sunrise. When you're looking at a sunrise, you aren't thinking about the bear. I want you to visualize a literal line in the sand right now. On one side is the cycle you've been living in, the shame, the hiding, the numbness. On the other side is a life full of light, a life where you can look people in the eye, a life where you have nothing to hide. Crossing that line requires a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice the right to your secret comfort. You have to be willing to feel the pain, the boredom, or the loneliness without numbing it. You have to be willing to suffer a little bit in the flesh so that you can be alive in the spirit. Are you willing to make that trade? Are you willing to say, I would rather feel the sharp pain of healing than the dull ache of sickness? If you are, then we need to talk about what this looks like on a Tuesday afternoon when your boss yells at you, or when you're alone in a hotel room, or when that specific notification pops up on your phone. We need to take this high theology and grind it down into practical steps. Because inspiration without application is just hallucination. We are done hallucinating. Let's look at the battle plan. So how do we translate a mighty change of heart into a Tuesday afternoon strategy? How do we take a covenant and make it work when the Wi-Fi is fast and the house is empty? We need granular steps. We need a tactical response team for your brain. I want to give you 4 practical steps. These aren't just tips. Think of them as the protocol you engage the moment the enemy pings your radar. Step 1 is what I call the 5-second circuit breaker. Neuroscience tells us that an urge is like a wave. It swells, it peaks, and then, if you don't feed it, it crashes and recedes. The peak usually lasts only minutes, sometimes seconds. When the thought first hits, that initial spark of, I want to look, you have a tiny window of agency. That is your kill zone. In that moment, I want you to physically change your state. Do not sit there and debate. Stand up, walk out of the room, do a push-up, splash cold water on your face. You have to interrupt the neural pattern physically. While you do this, you say one word. It can be Jesus, it can be no, it can be light. Say it out loud. You are breaking the trance. You are snapping the hypnosis. Step 2, the HALT diagnostic. Once you've broken the immediate trance, you need to ask yourself why this is happening right now. Lust is rarely about sex. It is almost always about something else. Ask yourself, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Usually, it's one of those 4. You are looking for a dopamine hit to fix an emotional problem. If you're lonely, call a friend. If you're tired, go to sleep without your phone. If you're angry, go for a run. Address the root, not the symptom. You are treating the wound, not just covering it up. Step 3, radical environmental surgery. Jesus said, if your right hand offends you, cut it off. Now please, keep your hands. But the principle is extreme measures. If your phone is the portal to hell, why are you taking it into the bathroom? Why is it charging by your bed? You cannot negotiate with a snake in your bed. You have to get the snake out of the house. Delete the apps. Put the computer in the living room. Install the filter. Give the password to a friend. But I need my phone for work. Okay, but do you need that app? Do you need the browser unlocked at 2 a.m.? Make it inconvenient to sin. Create friction. That friction gives your prefrontal cortex time to wake up and say, don't do this. Step 4, the bookend ritual. This is the most powerful one. This ties back to our covenant. Start and end your day with a declaration of intent. In the morning, before you check email, before you check Instagram, you get on your knees, literally, and you say, God, today I am yours. My eyes are yours. My mind is yours. I am weak, but you are strong. Take over. You are putting on the armor before the arrows start flying. Most of us walk onto the battlefield naked and wonder why we get shot. And at night, you report back. You say, God, I made it. Or, God, I slipped. I need help. You close the loop. You stay in the relationship. Now, I have to address the elephant in the room. What happens if you fail? Because you might. You are rewriting decades of coding. Here is where most people lose the war. They slip up, look at something they shouldn't, and then the shame floods in. Satan whispers, "See, you're a liar. You broke the covenant. You might as well binge. You might as well give up completely." That is the chaser effect. Listen to me closely. A slip is not a fall. If you trip on the stairs, do you throw yourself down the rest of the flight? No, you catch yourself, you get up, and you keep climbing. The covenant isn't about perfection, it's about direction. If you mess up, do not hide. Do not wait 3 days to pray because you feel dirty. That is exactly what the enemy wants. Run to God, not away from Him. The moment you slip is the moment you need Him most. The blood of Christ wasn't shed for perfect people. It was shed for broken people who are trying. Repentance isn't a punishment. It's a course correction. It's just turning the steering wheel back to the road. Do it quickly. Do it immediately. Do not wallow in the mud. Get up, wash off, keep walking. We are almost done here, but I have one final thing for you. A challenge. Something to take this from a video you watched to a life you live. So, here is where the rubber meets the road. We've talked about the science, we've talked about the theology, and we've talked about the tactics. But information alone doesn't change us. Action does. I have a challenge for you. I don't want you to just click off this video and let the algorithm feed you the next cat video or gaming highlight. I want you to pause. I want you to take the 7-day covenant challenge. Here is what you're going to do. Tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to find a physical piece of paper and a pen, not your notes app. There is something powerful about ink on paper. I want you to write a letter to God. It doesn't have to be poetic, it doesn't have to be long, it just needs to be honest. I want you to write down exactly what you are struggling with. Name the shame, drag it out into the light, and then write one sentence at the bottom. Lord, I am drawing a line in the sand. I am trading my will for yours. Give me a new heart. And then sign it, date it. Keep that paper somewhere you can see it first thing in the morning. Maybe on your nightstand, maybe taped to your bathroom mirror. That is your reminder that you are not the same person you were yesterday. You have entered a covenant relationship. You are under new management. For the next 7 days, I want you to commit to one radical boundary. Just one. Maybe it's no phone in the bedroom. Maybe it's no internet after 9 p.m. Maybe it's I will delete Instagram for a week. Choose the one thing that you know deep down in your gut is your biggest stumbling block and cut it off for 7 days. It will be hard. You will feel the withdrawal. You will feel bored. You will feel anxious. Good. Feel it. That feeling means the neural pathways are dying. That discomfort is the sound of your freedom returning. When those feelings hit, don't numb them. Pray through them. Breathe through them. Remind yourself, I can do hard things. I was created for more than this. I want to leave you with this final thought. There is a version of you that is free. There is a version of you that walks with your head held high, full of light, full of confidence, totally unashamed. That person isn't a fantasy. That person is the real you. The lust, the addiction, the shadows, that's the parasite. That's the lie. You are a child of the Most High God. You have royal blood flowing through your spiritual veins. You were not created to be a slave to a pixelated screen or a fleeting sensation. You were created to rule over your own spirit. Don't let the enemy steal your birthright for a bowl of soup. The battle is won in the mind, but the victory is secured in the heart. You have the tools, you have the map, and most importantly, you have access to the power that created the universe. You are not alone in this fight. We are in this together, and He is with you, closer than your very breath. So, draw the line. Make the trade. Step into the light. I believe in you. Now go make it happen.